Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym. Today we're talking about the fear of being judged for your opinion. Before we get started, please like, comment, share down below. Actually, if you like if you share it, other people, your friends can actually come on and we can have a discussion about this. This is going to be an interesting topic because we actually had a lot of difficulty getting clear on what we were actually going to talk about today. And we had a really long discussion around it. And like, if you guys know me at all, you know that I'm huge on clarity. I like everything to be very, very clear. I want to know what's expected of me, when it is, and how it's going to be done. I want clarity. So between the two of us, when we first started to do this, and this has been a long time now that we've been doing this, we've had coaches and we've had relationship help and we've done all these different things so that we could get very clear with each other. And I think clarity is just so underrated. And you've got Captain Ambiguity over here, and I wasn't much better. No, it's super difficult.
I think that's why.
That's what I mean. It's so simple, but it's so difficult.
It's overlooked.
Yeah, I think people go,
assuming.
We've got that. That's simple. That's no big deal. But they underestimate how outrageously difficult it really is in the process. But yeah. But anyway, today, please like, comment, share down below. And today we're talking about the fear of being judged for your opinion. Why did you come up with this topic?
I think you did.
I think you did. You're the one who said the fear. So Rachel came up to me and she came up to me and she said, you know FOMO, like the fear of missing out? And I was like, yeah, I just learned what that term meant like 6 months ago. But yes, I know what FOMO means now. And it means the fear of missing out. So like if all your friends were going to get to do something, but you didn't get to go, you'd feel like you're missing out on that opportunity. That's the fear of missing out.
FOMO.
That's FOMO. So F.O.P.O apparently is a thing. I should made it up. I don't know. I'm just finding out about this.
I heard it on a podcast, and
what is it? You want to explain it?
Well, the way I see it is F.O.P.O is fear of other people's opinions of you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be
fear of other people's opinions. So now we went into like 3 different directions, right? So I'm like, which one is it? Are we talking about being judged for your opinions? Like, so if I make an opinion, so like one of the things, and I think we all have this, I know both of us do, just to be real for a second, like I am outrageously scared of stating an opinion that I have on here that is somewhat controversial, and people just being like, I hate that, I hate Adam, I'm leaving the gym, I'm never going to do this stuff, like, because I don't want that, right? Even though we like to consider ourselves these rational beings, and it's okay, we live in a free country where everybody can have a differing opinion on whatever they want. So that's fear of being judged for your opinion. But then there's also fearing other people's opinions. So if someone out there has a differing opinion than you, and you almost fear that person, and you're almost like, projecting isn't really the right word, but you fear their opinion, that's another form of fear of other people's opinions. And the last one is something around being judgmental. You want to explain that one?
Fear of people judging you?
Yeah, of judging you for anything.
For anything.
And so they're developing an opinion of you, and so this is what's different from the first one. They're developing an opinion of you, and then they're being judgmental via that opinion. And social media was the one that you really brought up.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the other one.
Which one?
The fear of people's opinions.
Yeah, the fear of being judged for your own opinion.
Based off of your opinion, not based off of you necessarily, but like if you're stating your opinion in a group of people that you've never really met before, you kind of hold back.
Yeah, you
because
totally hold back.
You're making new impressions on people that could potentially be your friends. So you don't want to like divulge everything right away, but I mean, in the end, it's a good thing because you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
The way to
real.
get people to love you for you is by being real and authentic and stating your opinion to the best of your ability. Mm-hmm. Holding back is just gonna encourage people that you don't want around and don't agree with you to kind of latch on.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to do that though. Like a few things there, like it's really easy to get caught up in the whole like wanting to be around people that agree with you. I think that's but that's such an error. If you're always around people that like constantly agree with you, it turns into this you know when a chimpanzee all get in a circle and then they play with each other's hair?
Yeah.
Or like you get in a circle and you rub it. That's basically all it turns into, is like this like back patting session. Like, yeah, you're right. Aren't we so intellectual and so superior to everybody else because we all agree with each other?
It becomes small talk. You don't really have anything to discuss anymore.
Yeah.
And what you do discuss turns into kind of gossip, hate, or
but you do have to be
the weather, or
I mean, how often have you been around me where I just go ahead and throw something out and everybody just is like,
yeah, you kind of gotta feel it out.
Hate that guy.
I mean, also people love to put up walls. Once they hear something they don't necessarily agree with, they jump to a conclusion
like
based
in
off
Kansas
of
City.
Whatever.
A friend of hers was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. And she just, she didn't understand what we were all talking about, is basically what it boiled down to. And she got all offended, apparently.
I think it's easy for some people, to feel like they're being, attacked or judged. And when it's two people laughing at the other person.
We weren't laughing at her, though.
Well, I mean, I can see where her mind was going.
See how quick this goes?
So what I'm saying.
The topic was responsibility.
Yeah.
We were talking about who's responsible for whose feelings.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it's funny that someone would get emotional and offended over a discussion on whose responsibility certain things are.
Yeah, that's what I think that she was not ready for that. She was not aware of what was going on, and she decided to take the route of, okay, well, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to be pissed off, and I'm not going to like this ever again.
And it's really easy to sit there and look at me and be like, well, and not realize, like, I felt really guilty. I really did. I tried to manage that fear of that. The guilt is just the fear of not being enough. It's just like all the other ones. Like, you feel like you didn't do enough, and you're taking responsibility for something that isn't yours. And I had to really manage that fear of being judged for my opinion around responsibility. Jeez. So I had to really manage that. But that, like, I refused to be the victim in that scenario. Like, I had to take responsibility for my own fear. She needed to take responsibility for her own fear. Like, if I'm getting judged for it, that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with her, and vice versa. Did that get complicated at all?
So, going back to how you said be careful with it, if that person's just, like, if you can tell that person is just not very open to, they're not going to take that situation very well. And, I mean, that's not on you necessarily, but if you want to push people away, I mean, you might be pushing away the right person.
Maybe.
Like you might want to get into
in that scenario, there was somebody that was trying to play the victim and someone that was trying to take responsibility of his own fears and not be the victim. It would have been very easy for me to go to self-victimization there, and I had to really be conscious of it and not go there. And I think she could have done the same thing. So there was no victim there. You know, it's very easy to be like, no, like you were right to judge that person for that. It's like, no, what? Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so how I wrote it down was, we want to be willing to express what's authentic to us. So have the ability to speak your truth, no matter what the situation is. I mean, to a certain extent, but
how are we defining truth right there? Are we talking about absolute facts, objective reality?
Say you're having a conversation, a political conversation.
Ooh.
Be brave enough and daring enough to state, this is how I feel, this is what I think, and then also be brave enough and daring enough to be open-minded to what the other person has to think. You open up a dialogue, you can open up the conversation and kind of be willing to kind of mold your mind into something, what they have to give to the conversation, and vice versa.
Yeah, and I think there's like a huge thing there that you like that just kind of could easily be brushed over from what you just said. It was like the courage to listen to somebody else, the listen for understanding of somebody else's opinion, because you might not know that you disagree or agree with that person's opinion, until you fully understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah. Well,
Like, how could
instead
you?
of putting up walls, build up dialogue, and you can gain so much more perspective from that.
I like that a lot.
Versus
instead
just,
of putting
no, you're
up
not.
walls.
Like, oh, I'm gonna leave.
That was so
On
funny.
that note, I'm gonna leave. Well, you just lost the opportunity to gain a new perspective or understand where that person is coming from. Yeah, like the person being a dick is a perfect target for saying like, okay, I'm offended. I don't agree.
You're a jerk.
You're an asshole. You're being offensive.
You can't be a dick and an asshole. There's only 3 types of people.
Whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Team America World Police.
But
some
I'm
wise
saying
stuff.
they're easy targets.
There's only pussies, dicks, and assholes.
Okay, I get it. I'm trying to make a point.
I know you are.
But
I think what you said though is huge though. Like, build dialogue instead of building walls. Like, if you put up a wall that's just like, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to try to understand. I'm going to argue with you no matter what. I'm going to disagree with anything you say no matter what. You put up this huge wall. How are you ever going to have any sort of dialogue go there if you're not willing to understand each other?
That comes back to the topic, fear of other people's opinions. You're afraid of what other people think so much to the fact that you don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You only want to hear what you want to hear. That is your fear speaking.
Yeah, and you miss out on a ton of life doing that. Because you miss, like we disagree on plenty of stuff, and there's certain things that are they're perfectly reasonable to disagree on. Like, I don't but in the end we both end up saying like, I don't know, it could be this and it could be that. Like, it could be more your way, it could be more my way. We don't know.
I mean,
but if we put up that wall, I'd never be able to see her perspective, and I want to see her perspective. Otherwise, I don't grow my intelligence. That sucks.
Yeah. And some people don't have hardcore opinions about certain things.
Like you?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
In general. So once they hear one thing that they don't like, it's easy for them to just kind of shut down from the conversation because they don't have the ability to express their side of the story. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't formed these thoughts over and over and over and over again. They haven't had these conversations. So they kind of shut down. And they don't. I mean, that's where the fear of other people's opinions kind of comes from. It's like you were never willing to state your opinion in the first place. Like, say, like, in class, they always say what? Like, there's no stupid questions. If you never raised your hand and asked and kind of were able to seek more information based off of what you're hearing, you were never able to kind of refine your opinion in that atmosphere.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
You're afraid of other people judging you based off of your questions, your beliefs, your values, to the point where you never got to gain any more perspective.
Yeah, if you're not willing to be wrong, it's gonna be really hard to learn.
Yeah, if you're not if you're not willing to be
if you're not willing to be wrong, like you state something, it's really hard to learn or to say to learn or to be revolutionary or to do anything. Like, if you're not willing to be wrong, like. I've been in many discussions where I'm like, at the end of the discussion, it's like, no, this is a good perspective. I would say that that
is very well thought out. Mm-hmm. But even still, like, when your teacher says, so who thinks this and who thinks this? And half the people don't even raise their hand. They don't give a yes or a no. Well, the people that are not raising their hand, either they don't know or they're afraid of people knowing what they think,
or they think both or neither. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, like in politics, like, some people are like, they're like super fanatics of the right side Republican conservative type, and they're super fanatics of like this left sort of liberal Democrat type. And I'm like, nah, I think you're both stupid.
Like, so there's that.
Like,
but then there's the
people, like, right
the fear part, where the people don't even engage in the actual conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a third one. So there's the other one where it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared of both. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. And there's people like me that are just like, nah, I think you're both dumb.
So, I don't know. Other people's opinions shouldn't hinder your ability to. I mean, it's about loving yourself and like having the courage to like.
It's a tough thing to do.
And the curiosity to explore what you don't know. So for you to let other people's opinions overcome that, it's like saying you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
You don't love yourself enough to state your opinion, then how can you love yourself enough to do anything?
Yeah, most of the time, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but most of the time when I'm in conversations, a lot of the reason that I say the thing is just because I'm curious about your response. I just want to hear what you have to say about it. Like, I really want to know. I've been around vegetarians before where I'm like, ask them, like, why are you vegetarian? And it's like they don't know like how to answer, and someone else in our group will be like, he really wants to know. He wants to know why you're like, he's asking out of curiosity. And I actually pre-frame my questions now on social media almost all the time when I'm like, so I'm actually asking this out of curiosity, but why blah, 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 blah. So that, because I've noticed that if I just ask the question, they take it as a challenge the majority of the time.
See, and they get those all defensive, people are probably used to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, being vegan is kind of taboo for some people. They know that they're going to get hate for it. They know so they don't tell people that they're vegan sometimes.
That would be great. That's a great thing.
Well, that's just an example. But it doesn't mean that, like...
There's certain things that people take interesting pride in. Like, if you're proud of it, whatever, but...
Well, if it's something that they believe in and they're doing it for the right reasons, then who's to tell them that they're wrong?
Yeah.
So when Adam asks you a question, he isn't, like, trying to, like, I don't know, dog you and make you feel like a
I'm not
piece
manipulating.
Of shit. He genuinely wants to know what your reasons are for what you're doing, because he's seeking understanding.
Yeah.
He's seeking somebody else's opinion. He's not trying to, like, put you down or make you feel insignificant.
No,
I mean, if you are doing that, you're a piece of shit.
Are you calling me a piece of shit?
No, I'm just saying.
I do like Socratic method does work really well for getting like if you have a point to make, asking people questions so that you can lead them to your way. Like if sometimes I ask people questions on like a series of questions, like if this then this, if this then this, and this and this. If this was the case, then would this be the thing? To kind of like lead them down my way of thinking so that we can both have an understanding of the thing. But I never use it as a form of manipulation. I really want to know.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it so you can manipulate.
I don't know what the right and wrong reasons are, but I'm definitely not doing it to manipulate. But I do think it takes a lot of courage to be curious, though. I mean, curiosity is one of those things that is very much. I think it's the greatest. It's under the most. No act is more attacked. Oh my gosh, some alliteration heavy stuff there. No, there's nothing more attacked than curiosity right now in the world. I don't think. Like political correctness is a really good example. The ability to think and to think differently, and to not just think differently, but to think for yourself. Like, just to think different for different's sake doesn't really make you different. It makes you like everybody else. No. But Lil Wayne has that quote or in that interview where he was being asked, like, what makes your sound so different? He's like, I'm not trying to be different. I'm trying to be me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big those are two separate things.
I mean, being different, it's not about that. And I mean, if you wanted to be the same as everybody else, then you're probably not going to go very far.
Yeah.
If you just all agree about the same exact topics every time, it's going to get pretty boring pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Like the chimps.
The chimps?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like your example in the circle? Was that a good one or a bad one? I know that
I don't know.
My analogies are sometimes hit or miss, but I do think that is a thing though, and I think that there really is there's a team aspect going on right now. Like tribalism is at an all-time high, which maybe isn't necessarily a good or bad thing. I don't know. We will see. But I think politics is a really good example. You have my team versus your team, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Like
you might see things.
That's crazy.
Certain things different ways, but that doesn't mean that you're on separate teams.
Right, but one side will disagree with the other side just to disagree, just because they need to win, no matter what.
Yeah.
And the other side does the same thing, and then they try to be like, no, we're different. And it's like, I don't know if you're that different. I think that you all have a lot of similarities that, and besides that, you're all humans. You're just like the show we did last week. Like, you have way more intercommonalities than you do external differences.
Every time you say that, it's just like a whole lot to think about. That was a good one.
But I do think, I think it's hard to, I think I definitely have a fear of stating my opinion.
Well, especially when your opinions are so drastically different, maybe thought out more than others.
Yeah, when all you do is sit around and just like, I don't know, I don't think very many people are like me, where they're just like, their mind never stops. Like, it's almost maddening in a way, like so much curiosity. Like, I want to know everything. I want to hear every perspective, and I want to mull it over, and I want to think about it and analyze it and get very logical and very objective on that thing. I don't know if everybody does that, but I do it.
Well, and when you're stating your opinion, it's not like you're saying like everybody has to think the way I do.
Uh-huh.
That's not what your goal is. Your goal is to just start conversation and learn from other people.
Yeah.
And same with me. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think we're at two polar opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
Where like one side, like on your side, like you kind of tend to not really even form like a super hard opinion.
I'm trying to gain understanding
and,
more, like put myself in their shoes in a way.
Yeah.
So that I can, like, coming from it behind and like understanding, okay, so this is why this person thinks this. Like, they grew up in this part of Iowa. Maybe they think that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we all have had a completely different life. The way we came to those opinions or beliefs was probably not just a fluke.
Oh, no.
It was a buildup of instances and experiences in our life. So for me to judge someone off of that is not really fair. I mean, it's hard not to do. It's not like
super hard.
Like, I never judge myself or I never judge someone else.
Well, we were talking about this before the show.
Coming from an understanding,
like, opinions and judgments aren't necessarily good. It's not like good or evil, you know.
No.
Like I don't remember. What was the situation? Someone called me judgmental, and I was like, that's not judgmental. That's just like, it's judging the scenario. It's like, this is, what do you want me to do? That's not judgmental. It wasn't negative.
It wasn't.
It just was. Okay. It wasn't really a positive either. It just kind of was. I wish I could remember the example, but
I cannot do this.
You having trouble?
Well, there's tea bags in it, so a straw and tea bags don't work together.
You just keep saying things where I'm like, where I want to like, it's just so funny. All right, but I think you're right though. Like listen to understanding is a huge thing.
Going in with a hardcore opinion kind of, I mean, like, I want my opinions to form based off of my experiences. I don't want it to be based off of, oh, I read this on the internet, so this is how I believe it. Because you never know. The internet is full of garbage. I feel like...
I think that's a product
like
of
a couple years
things
ago,
through.
Like, when I took journalism, it was all about, like, the facts and, like, making sure that you report things the correct way. But now I feel like the line is so... Anybody can write a news story. So I think that they manipulate facts, they manipulate quotes so much more than they used to.
Yeah.
So you can't look at even a newspaper and take it for what it's worth. It's like where they get their information.
Well, that's it. Or even if they did even if you did get the same information, like let's say two different newspapers got the exact same information, they could spin that one. Mm-hmm. You could say, let's say some doctor somewhere cures cancer. One person puts it in the news. One newspaper published it as like, "Oh my God, like, he cured cancer. This is so great, wonderful, everything." And the other paper goes, "Doctor puts all other oncologists and nurses out of a job." It's the same. And then let's say they report the exact same story.
But that's the title.
But one, like, it's the same story, but it goes two different directions based on the headline, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you can just spin this stuff and be manipulated by it so easy. And I don't think anybody's above this, by the way. Like, we all are going to everything. They think it's called pre-framing. It's like if you walked into the gym and your first time, and I said, "Did you get lost on the way here? Did you have a lot of trouble finding the place?" And or I asked, "How was the trip here? Was it good?" There's like two different questions to it to elicit two different things.
Pre-framing.
It's one of those things with communication. It's how it's like one of the things I was going to mention that we should talk about is safety, like building a certain amount of safety, which is super difficult. But if you build a certain amount of safety and someone knows that they can state an opinion that might be different from your own, then you've done a really nice job, I think.
And that's all in communication too. You want people to be able to trust you with their opinion. Mm-hmm. I want people to state their opinion, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
If I'm not, then like, I think that's such a disjustice to just
is
people.
Is disjustice a word? I think it's injustice.
Injustice. Yeah.
I
think it's injustice.
But I'm not sure about that.
But it's to human interaction. Like we're social people, so for us to like hold back continually, like, oh, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of them judging me, or I'm afraid of if I say this they're not going to like me anymore, or they're going to change their view of me. Yeah. It's holding your true authentic self back. Yeah. In many instances throughout the day. And
it's like a lot of that's going to come down to your responsibility too. Like it's this is one of these things that I have a very very difficult time with is the whole like what I expect from me and what I expect from somebody else. Like me, I'm going to take I expect of myself to take 100% responsibility for all my thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, and I expect to take none from anybody else. Like what I say is my responsibility. How you receive it is your responsibility, and I take zero responsibility for how it is received. But I can't but it's you get out in the real world. How many people know that? How many people actually agree to that? So
they might say
I have to change it a little bit, which sucks. But it's amazing how easily people get offended by these things, and it's like and then they think it is your fault. It's like, it's not my fault that you got offended. That's your fault that you got offended. Yeah, but I'm trying to build safety in there too, so that you can, and I try to say it in a way that doesn't elicit this huge response, so we can actually have a discussion.
I mean, that's the whole point.
Easier said than done, though.
It's the whole thing. It's how we communicate is, like, if I feel safe communicating next to you, I'm going to open up more. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you more of myself. We're going to learn more about each other. If you're just mean and pissed off all the time, I'm going to hold back a lot more. Mm-hmm. So why would you want people around you? Happened. I'm just saying, well, why would you want people around you to feel like that constantly?
Yeah.
I guess it's a fear of other people's opinions, but also you have to remember
it's just harder to manage your own fear in that scenario.
And no one's perfect. I bet there's absolutely no one that doesn't have a fear of other people's opinions. No one. I find it really, I don't know. I find it really hard to believe that someone has this down to a T. But it's the practice of it, and on the flip side, like making people feel comfortable to have a conversation with you. You don't want them to have a fear of your opinion, but I mean that's on them, not you. But what?
What's one that, like, pets? We could do that really quick.
What pets?
We have differing opinions on pets.
Yeah, Adam hates pets.
I don't hate pets. She's being sarcastic. I don't hate pets, but pets are not something that
Adam grew up on a farm where like all the pets were outside. I grew up in a house where pets were like I don't know, they're part of the family.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, is she wrong?
Because he's never
no. Am I wrong?
it.
No. Is she right? No. Am I right? No. But to me, like, no, a dog shouldn't come inside. What's a dog coming inside for? Like, dogs on a farm have been out rolling around in dead animals, crawling through poop, like literal shit. And you're going to have that in your house and you're going to sleep with it? I'm like, no.
I mean, I go outside and I walk in some dog shit. Are you going to like put me outside?
No, but you got shoes on that you're going to take off.
Yeah.
You didn't roll around in it.
I think, I don't know.
You're going to go outside and roll around in a
This
dead
is a
animal?
weird topic for both
But it's
of us.
something that we disagree on. And
But
so we can have this discussion back and forth.
We don't get in an argument over it, but it's like we're kind of going back and forth like, oh, I can see where you're coming from, but
let's keep going with it, because like there's other things too. Our agreement. We came to an agreement, so we had this discussion back and forth a long time, right?
Yeah.
You wanted a dog. I'm like, I can't. And I had to get clear. Like, why don't I want a dog? And then there's some of that where I'm like, I'm not gonna have a dog in my house. I don't want to have a dog in my bed. I don't really like. And then what I think it really came down to was like this realization one day where I was like, the dog would get neglected. Like I work like 60 to 80 hours a week. Like, when is the dog gonna have its time? You know, we have a corner lot, so we actually have a decent sized yard for being in town. There's like my dog, like the different dogs that I had growing up, they never saw a leash. They had miles to run on out on the farm, literal miles. So I'm like, could I do that to a dog? So what was the agreement was that we'd if we moved out in the country where there's enough acreage that we could have a dog, right?
Yep.
The reluctant, no, I want a dog now. But
I don't know. And that's the thing too. I'm trying to put myself in his position. To him, that was his experience. My experience was completely different than that.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like sticking a dog outside is neglecting it.
Yeah, and I had to put myself in her shoes to realize, because like she's like, you just don't care about animals. I'm like, that's not true at all. Like, I think I care a great deal about animals, and that's why I'm not doing it. And then I went down there, and I'm like trying to think from her side. I'm like trying to think like this thing being a part of your family, and this being like a pet, like, you know. And I'm like, well, that's why I don't want the dog, because I would be neglecting the dog. That wouldn't be fair to the dog. Why would I want a family member that I couldn't interact with?
So you'd want it to stay inside?
No.
Well, you're neglecting it by putting it outside.
Go outside and play with your dog.
But what about at night?
I mean, it can like have like its little dog house or like spot in the garage or something, but not like in the house. All
right.
See,
we could talk about this all day.
but to some people, that discussion that we just had, like, I would seem like the biggest jerk in the world. Like, how could he say that? What an asshole! Blah 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 blah. And we'll never talk to that guy ever. I mean, people feel really strongly about this thing, and then other people would be like, "What's the matter with that girl? Like, who? Like, what a psycho! Like, your dog's."
I don't think anybody.
I know people that say that.
All right.
But to us, like, these are two like polar opposite things. We had to like have a discussion over it, but I realize it's a pet, so it doesn't seem like that big a deal.
Yeah.
But you just saw something get fairly complicated really quick, right? And it was as simple as a pet. Think if you throw in something like economics, something really complicated like that.
Or abortion. Something like super close to people's hearts, like something that it's easy to jump to the conclusion of, like, you're an awful person.
And something.
If you think this.
Yeah, murderer. And something like, speaking of like abortion is something like people have like very like just draw the line and they're like, no, this. And it's like, well, is it? Like, and they never stop to get curious about it and have the question of like, is it? Like, one day after that child's born, all of a sudden it's murdered, and like, I don't know, whatever it is, like 3 months before that, it's not murder. Like, I don't know what all the dates are. It's like, when is that line? Like, what is going on here? Do you see what I'm saying though? Like, people get like really charged up about this, and I'm saying like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not I'm not saying either side is right or wrong. I'm just like, I don't know. For one, I'm not qualified at all to make that decision.
No.
I am not a gynecologist. I am not a child professional. Like,
you're not a woman?
No, I'm not a woman. That also is accurate. But
right,
yeah,
let's wrap it up.
Something easy like that. It gets complicated really quick. If the pet thing can get that complicated that fast, think how fast something else can get, especially when you throw emotion into the situation. Okay. You want to wrap it up on that topic?
Yep.
Did you see her? She was like, no, don't go there. Don't go there when I want to talk about that. That's a good example, though. What are you afraid of?
I'm not. I'm just...
I am.
That's an opinion of... It's just... It could go many different directions right
Yeah, I
now,
know.
and we have like a minute left.
I know.
It deserves much more time than that, I think.
Yeah. I know.
Not just like, okay, bye.
No, it's a tough one. I don't know what the answers are. I don't pretend to.
Oh wait, you have to talk about your 2 things. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Oh, tomorrow morning is 4th of July, so there's a special workout at Grid Gym. You can bring your family members that are in town. You can bring anybody that's not a member at Grid Gym can show up to this. It's going to be a special workout.
An obstacle course?
Like short bus special. What's
Not
that?
like short bus special.
I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, it'll be
obstacle course?
Yeah, it'll be an obstacle course. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and so we'll set that up tomorrow morning, and everybody can start showing up around 7:30. We'll do a short warm up, and then everybody will divide and conquer. We'll set a timer, and we'll just go through for as many cycles as you can. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
What's
I
the
don't
other
remember
thing?
what the other thing was.
There was 2.
I think there was.
There's also Float the River on the 21st.
Maybe that.
You
maybe
have
that
to
was
get
it.
your own flotation device.
So either a canoe or a
Kayak
paddleboard or a kayak.
paddleboard. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you
And
could
if you-
use
if-
other things.
If you
really
shoot me an
wanted to.
email, I can actually send you a place that you can buy paddleboards that are really, really nice paddleboards for about half the
Decent.
price that you're going to find anywhere else.
Yeah. And that'll be fun too.
That will be fun.
I
What
feel
was
like
the second
there
one?
was something else, but I can't remember. No, I'm good.
8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
8 a.m. tomorrow morning. 4th of July is tomorrow. I don't know. I'll think of it later, and you can write it in the notes or something.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. I bet we'll do a live tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I bet.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'll be there.
You're going to be working out though.
I know. I'll be there.
Bring your social media stuff. We're gonna shoot. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Bye bye.